What's going on, everybody? Welcome to a new version of Motivational Mondays here on Be the Change Network. Also, my personal page, Anthony Michael Russo. A lot of you guys might have seen that I was talking last week that I wanted to get more into or back into my motivational speaking type topics and actually put some positivity out there. So Mondays and Fridays, much more motivational, focusing on that, focusing on writing my book and taking some time. And I said, how have I been doing? What's going on, Jamie? How have I been doing Motivational Mondays? I think of a topic. I put a 4 or 5 minute video together for everybody on Facebook and YouTube. And then I do a special version for the Patreon. So what I decided that I'm going to do is I'm going to do this. I'm going to talk to you guys. What do you guys want to hear about this week? What has you down? What do you need questions on? What do you have questions on? And then at the end of it, I will create a special Patreon version. If you want to join the Patreon and support us for that, support me, support BetheChange, etc. Otherwise, right now, let's talk about motivation. Let's talk about things that get our week jump started. That's the whole purpose of Mondays. Mondays suck for most people. Why though? You should love what you do. And if you don't, find a way to love what you do or change it up and start making a plan to actually be different, do something different, go someplace different. We've got a fantastic event that is part of what I want to actually put into the world coming up this weekend with Operation Take Back America, where we have, I think we're up to like 10 or 11 incredibly diverse speakers. We have all different backgrounds, people that are in Congress, people that are running for all these. It's amazing. So we're going to have that event. You guys can probably see that on any of the Primetime Patriots or Be the Change pages. That is me putting something out into the world that I want to do. I want to create the change that I want to create. I'll lead everybody off. I'm not seeing a ton of comments. I'm seeing people jump on. Tell me what you guys want to hear. Tell me what's tough this week. And maybe just maybe, whatever is going on in your life is also going on in somebody else's. And they're going to need to hear a message from me and hopefully pep you guys up. What I personally talk about is doubling down. My dad was a compulsive gambler growing up, and he played blackjack with a strategy known as negative progression. Not a very sexy term, but it's quite effective if you can continuously reach in your pockets. You double your bet every single time that you lose, and eventually you'll come out on top. So, guys, I want everybody to start thinking in that mindset. Failure is positive. Don't think about playing blackjack or doubling down in that sense, but realize there's a lot of positivity in this. Guys, I need you guys to trip the algorithm for me. Do me a huge favor and start hitting either just a comment where you guys are from, etc. Tell me where you what kind of questions you guys might have, and we'll go ahead and get started. I don't know what's going on. If I'm not getting comments, let me go ahead and check the Facebook page. Bum 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 bum. Oklahoma, there we go. Thank you. I'm assuming that's Casey. Yes, I have a fancy mic now. Boom goes the dynamite. What's going on, Danny? Delaware. Biden has done nothing. I love it. There we go. Let's trick that algorithm a little bit. There we go. That's what we're talking about. Missouri, Illinois, Marla, good seeing you. I know that was Casey. I know it was Casey. All right. Hey, Rose. All right. What's got you guys down this week? What's going on? I watched an awesome. That's amazing. Once you guys start to comment, how many more people start coming on? Illinois, not from Chicago. That's good. You got that Lori Lightfoot in Chi-Town. She's doing fantastic. So as you guys know, I talk a lot about politics. This one's not so much. I'll make some political jokes if you guys want. Have I lost weight, Amy? Like 5 pounds, but for the most part, I've just shaved my face, started working out again. And yeah, that's about it. Thank you, Susanna. I appreciate you. So California, what's up? So I love to listen to motivation. If you listen to YouTube, just type in motivation. They've got these great videos. I listen to them when I'm working out. And Jocko Willink, what's his last name? Willink. He's a ex-Navy SEAL. He talks a lot about stuff, and he literally just had this great message. And I'm going to share a minute of it later because it really embraces what we're doing with Operation Take Back America. Is, you know what? If you feel as though what you've got in front of you is impossible, and there's no chance that you can win, then guess what? You are incredibly dangerous because that also means there's nothing to lose. And if you go all out and full tilt, then guess what? You're going to leave it all on the field, and you're going to leave it all on the battlefield. And sometimes what's supposed to happen will happen, but you have to put forth that effort. Good. I'll check out good, Casey. So what's everybody going through this week? Is there anything that you guys want to hear about? Anything struggles you have? Any kind of pep talk you need? Again, I feel like it might help somebody else out there. This is what I do. This is what I did before COVID. It wasn't just politics. Actually, it's predominantly not talk about politics. I would bullshit with people if they wanted to talk about politics, and I would get into it. But for the most part, it was about motivation and helping people go all in and double down for success and not be afraid of failure. Kelly. Yes. Kelly's feeling overwhelmed. She's a great example. Kelly, what I would suggest for you, especially since I know a little bit of your own story, what's going on, April, is organize what you have to do. And I had to practice what I preached it was because I actually spoke with what's going on, Shirley. I spoke with Kelly. She was feeling overwhelmed, and I realized the advice that I gave her, I wasn't practicing myself. So that's a double entendre. Practice what you preach, and when you're feeling overwhelmed, start to make lists, start to make notes. And yes, hire help, but that's the thing. People just say, why don't you hire help? It's much harder than people think, because there actually is a step. It's not like all of a sudden you're like, I'm going to hire help, and tomorrow you have somebody that shows up at your doorstep and can help. You have to post an ad. You have to talk to people. You need to tell people that you need help. You have all these different things that you have to do in order to actually get help hired. So it's not just about what you have to do. And I think that's a big mistake when people make lists. And I'm old school when it comes to pen and paper and making lists. I want to check it off at 1, 2, 3. But what people do is they put the end task. They say, I want to have, like Kelly says, hire help, instead of put an ad, write the ad, actually make each thing actionable so that it's more attainable. It's much more attainable when you can cross off one at a time, one at a time, one at a time. So it's much more attainable when you realize that you are making progress. It's kind of like losing weight. If you say, I want to lose 50 pounds, and that's great, but you also have to realize that there's going to be steps, because if you look at the scale after 2 weeks and you're down 3 pounds, that 50 looks incredibly daunting and people give up. Jerome, what's going on, brother? Final week of bowling this week. Boom goes the dynamite. Yeah, I agree. The world has gone a little bit crazy, but we're here to try to bring us back together. Steve, appreciate you. Thank you for sharing for PTP. And for Cheryl, yep, I would stay as clear as that. Just say that say that your grandchildren identify as vaccinated. That's what we like to say on Primetime Patriots. Madeline, I am doing great. Big on paper lists. So that's seemingly today's message is creating lists and actually knocking them down. Now, as I said in the beginning, I'm changing the format. For those of you that have watched Motivational Mondays in the past, this is the free Motivational Monday. This is where I talk to people, figure it out, and then I'm going to come up with something specifically for our Patreons that are a lot of Cash's followers, as well as Be the Change supporters. I'm going to create something that's curated, like 5 minutes, very specific, that I'll put up that's just for those people. And by that, then you're supporting what we do here at Be the Change. So if you want to become a Patreon, I will put that up on the bottom somewhere. I'm looking for more comments too. If you guys, there it is, patreon.com/BeTheChangeUSA. I'll put that up on occasion. So again, that's patreon.com/BeTheChangeUSA. So let's see. Love the positivity. Love that. Love the Nikki. This was actually way cheaper than my other microphone. Much more functional. Looks cooler. I can dip it in, dip it out. It's got a new microphone, new camera. I needed something. I spent all of about $90. So it was actually pretty good stuff. Hope it sounds good. Let me know how it sounds. Fun fact, this is a little bit political, but I took that video that I posted on Be the Change. Again, people say, what are you doing if you're just talking? Anyways, so amazingly enough, the FBI had not seen that video yet. And since I have contact now with the FBI, because apparently, whatever, they had never seen it. So I don't know what that can do or help, or if anybody actually gives a crap out there, but maybe it is. Why? So I took action. I took a risk and sent that video to my agent, and he had said that he had never seen it. Let's see. Did you hear about the shenanigans in it's more political stuff, but I do love it. Yes, great question from Primetime Patriots. I know I just said political stuff, but RSVP for the event on the 22nd and 23rd. I might do a blunt force logic later today. I think I've got a logo almost completely created, which would be cool. I'll throw that up there and do a little blunt force logic rant and talk more about the event. We've got Truth Will Set You Free tomorrow night, leading up to the event, and Concert Vengers. I don't know if I'm going to do Change Makers. We'll see. I had a great conversation earlier today with a veteran that is just out there helping the world, and I'm pretty excited about that. He's going to be on Changemakers at one point. We talked a lot about action over awareness and actually doing something, and I think that resonates very well with positivity and motivation, which is we're a country that, whether we're talking from an activist standpoint or what's going on in the world, we are a country that loves to just talk about what to do instead of do it. That goes in your personal life too. Like I just said, when I was giving advice to Kelly about making a list and like organizing your priorities so you're not so stressed out and overwhelmed, I wasn't practicing what I preached. So if you're going to tell other people how to live their life, make sure that you are being true to yourself, your authentic self, and doing the exact same thing. So here's what we got, guys. So if you guys are asking about this event, I'll talk more of them tonight, maybe, and also during Truth Will Set You Free. The 22nd is completely free. 23rd is also free. But if you want to actually be a part of the Q&A, we're going to ask you to either be a Patreon of one of our groups or a hopeful donation. We've got two great charities, which I'm going to announce later today. One is a veterans charity that is very well known nationally. I feel like I hear something buzzing. And you guys have probably seen me with wasps and hornets, but it freaks me out. So the 23rd, we are looking to find a way on Zoom to blast it out there, like do a Zoom, even though it's a Q&A, like we'll have 100 people that are RSVP'd to that can ask questions for a couple hours. And then everybody else can watch that live on either YouTube or Facebook, however we figure out how to put that up. That's the way it's going to be. Michael, is this right now? I think you're talking about right now. This is right now. Let's see. Bum, bum, bum. Please, I love Primetime Patriots hooking me up. Thank you, guys. Let's see what else we got. You disregard #real priority. I don't know what that means. Let's see. Bum, bum, bum. Send my kids back. Ours were, yeah, I think it's time to send kids back to school. I've said that for a long time. Oh, turn the other cheek. Yes. So I wrote the article on turning the other cheek. If you want a little, I can talk about that for a split second. So turning the other cheek is an incredibly powerful tool in today's day and age. Because again, like I just said, people love to yell at the top of their lungs. And there's only so many things that you can say unless you're the world's best wordsmith. I'm great with words. And even I know sometimes I need to take a slap across the face. Where is that coming from? Anyways, freaking me out. So even I know that sometimes you have to take it. So if you're trying to make impact on a political level, or even, you know what, let's break this down into a family unit. Say you're not getting along. Let's take politics out of it. Say you're not getting along with a family member and they think that they are so right. And guess what? You probably think you are so right too. The best way to actually have the conversation is actually going to be to sometimes take the beating. Because if you're willing to take a beating and then come back and still have a peaceful conversation, you have won that first stage of the argument or of the debate, because you're willing to take a beating and still come back calmly. Look at a great example politically would be Rand Paul going at Dr. Fauci. Rand has managed to stir Dr. Fauci's just gut bubbles, because Dr. Fauci is cool, calm, and collected, smug as all hell. And all of a sudden, Rand is getting under his skin to the point where Fauci is yelling during a meeting. So Fauci, what he has done there is he has lost phase one of that argument, because he, instead of saying, I get what you're saying, moving on, he now looks like the aggressor. I mean, to most people, it's common sense, but, you know, our country doesn't have that. So from a political standpoint across the board, be the one that gets slapped first, make sure everybody sees it, and then be able to have a peaceful conversation. That makes you the better person, better man. I would say better man, but I guess we have to say better person now. I don't know if anybody saw that fun little gem. And I think it's Penn State is now no longer allowing it to be called to freshman and sophomore, all that stuff. They're getting rid of anything gender in the titles. Super senior is considered derogatory. That's the real world. That's the real world. Okay. Let's see. Is Michael getting angry? Oh, pursue division. I know. I'll talk to Michael. I don't care. Have you not been checked yet? Have you not been checked? Maybe like check mark. Is that what you want? You have preyed on those you have employed females. Okay. I know who Michael is. Michael most likely is this gentleman. It's a little bit on the loco side, if it is who I believe it is. He worked for me several years ago. His name is Shane. He has found multiple different profiles to harass me on because I did not have his back on an instance where I didn't understand. I didn't have firsthand experience of what was going on, so I could not get in his corner. And it's very obvious when it's him. So I appreciate him. I will block him because it's distracting to the conversation. I've never preyed on anybody. I think everybody can pretty much tell on all the lives that they've been on with me that I have not. But yeah, Michael Hope is actually Sean, or is it Sean? Yeah, Sean. Anyways, well, thanks for coming on. And I do, but this is the one I do want to talk about. I don't pursue division. I pursue divisive topics, because sometimes you have to be a little bit divisive in order to actually make a change. In order to end division, you need to be a little bit divisive. That was fun. Glad Michael got out of there, don't worry, Shirley. It's not just a troll. It's somebody that's attacked me on all different levels, including threatened my daughter one time when she was a year old. He's got some issues. How many females have I dated? He's got some fun questions, though. I've dated, out of the 10 years, out of the independent contractors, there was 2. There was 2 people that I dated after they worked for me. Anyways, all right. This guy is nuts. Oh, I can get into a whole thing, but it's really not worth it. But there is some serious trauma of life, and I was to blame because I did not have his back. I would have, but I had no evidence of the story. And at that time, he had already lost his mind on several different levels. All right. He's totally gone off topic. So let's talk about things that are actually positive. If anybody wants to know more details on that, let me know. I think the walls are caving on Fauci as well. Let's see. Block. I did. Sorry, Jamie. My fault. All right. Let's go back to positivity. So funny. He can't, it's not because his name's not Michael. It's Sean. What's going on, Nay? How you doing? All right. Nay's just joining. Some other people are just joining. So here's the deal. This is Motivational Monday. We've talked about making a list, following through with that list. I talk, as some of you guys know, I talk about doubling down for success in terms of life. And I'm not talking about going out and making $1 million. I'm talking about how to be happy. And it's not just about the money. When you make money, you're focused. That's not where you're going to find success from. Carol from St. Louis, what's going on? Yeah, he's definitely not worked through it. Let's see. So is there anything that you guys need? And Nate, I saw you the other night on Suni's show. You did an amazing job. Let's see. Did an amazing job, and I can't wait to see you more on different stuff. So well done. Guys, give me some topics. What are you having? I know, let's forget about Sean. What kind of topics do you guys want to talk about? I'm going to do this for about 15 more minutes. Oh, it was real ugly, Nikki. And again, it had nothing to do with me. Let's see. Barely getting focus. Is that your issue right now? So needing focus. So we're going to talk a little bit about focus. If you're struggling to get focused, there might be some extraneous things in your life blocking that focus. Give me a little bit more detail of what you're talking about, Susanna. When I have trouble with focus, I always call this getting unstuck. So I did like a short 2-segment webinar one time on getting unstuck. Getting unstuck is essentially the same as not being focused. What's going on, Barbara? How you doing? So when you're looking at a lack of focus, it's usually meaning because your life is too cluttered around it. So if your life is too cluttered around it, very similar lesson to taking notes and focusing is maybe you have to do little things. And I'm sure Kelly is going to laugh at this because I'm going to say the first step is to stop doing what you're trying to be focused on. If you're struggling to be focused, there's something else blocking it. So I'm going to make a suggestion to do something, whatever is the dirtiest in your life, whether it be your room, your office, your car. Stop doing the work you need to focus on and go clean that. And Kelly is going to laugh because I'm terrible at cleaning. But once in a while, when I've given up on everything, like every other step to get focus or to get whatever, I clean up around me. I clean up the stuff. You know, what's funny? I downgraded on the microphone, bro. I downgraded, but I think it's a little bit better, smarter purchase. And Stacy, I'll get to you next. So, ultimately clean something. It's a mental switch. It's like a lot of times pitchers are superstitious in baseball. They'll switch a rosin bag from different side of the mound. They'll maybe tie their shoes different. Every time they flick their glove a different way. It's something that triggers the mind to create change and then refocus. So you step away and refocus. A lot of people also have been raised and been told you have to sit in front of your computer and do the same work all day and just focus, when that's not actually 90% of the time the way the brain works. Some people work that way. Some people need to realize that working an hour and then getting up for 5 minutes and going to do something, 30 minutes and then taking 5 minutes. It's not like you're taking stupid breaks. You're literally letting the mind cool off. So that's a suggestion. That's why I know, Kelly. That's why I don't get jacked up when I know that it's a complete waste of time, when it's not, because it's you refocusing on what you do. I let you do it, and you're adorable when you do it as well. Let's see, Suzanne. I saw that, and I get that. I lost my aunt, which was like a second mom, and lost my father within a couple of years. And really, some of you guys might know this. I don't really have much family. I got my mom. I've got her family that we really don't talk a ton. So really, my family is technically my mother. So I don't really have that much of an extended family. I've got some cousins that I love that I just don't see very much anymore. On my dad's side, that's pretty much it. So I get that loneliness. And going through that, I don't know how long ago it happened, but let yourself, a lot of times people don't let themselves grieve. And if it's something like we got to get back to work, then if that 5 minutes out of your hour, you're taking a break, go think about it. Go in the bathroom and cry. That's, as a conservative, that's the only safe space that I approve. Change your focus, like Casey just said. Let's see, finding purpose. That's a real long subject. That one, that's one of those ones that I do one-on-one. I've done some one-on-ones, like, what do you want to do? What do you want to go? So I'm going to give my personal anecdote on this one. I found I had been doing all these different things my whole life and coaching people and saying, write down, tell me, get together. What's your why? What is your why? And it's not something that you get to. It's like a nickname. You don't get to name your why necessarily. It's got to come from here, and it's got to all of a sudden resonate in your brain. My why came at the age of 37 years old, when whoever's been following since almost this time last year, when Dr. Frank passed away. I realized that his friend told me that in his last couple months, not when he was sick, because he was only sick from COVID for a month, but not when he was sick, but before then, when he was looking at the world spiraling, and at the time, after George Floyd, and it hasn't gotten any better, I think we can all agree. This person that I probably did not share all of my political views with, he realized that just the way that we were trying to have a conversation made his life worth living and gave him hope. And I realized that my why appeared to me based on somebody telling me this about somebody that passed away. So keep your ears open, like in the book, The Alchemist. The roads and the messages are being paved around you. Just keep listening to them. So trying to find a purpose is a big, long, let's set up a white erase board and get to work. But ultimately, find your why first, and then you'll find your purpose. Let's see what else we got. Sorry, Sherry. Yeah, it's interesting. It's like a club. When you've lost your parents or your dad or whatever it might be. I lost my dad, and it's something that people can't quite understand until they've been in it, and I don't expect anybody to. And even though, I was close to my dad, but he didn't live with me for most of my childhood, but it's still different. Let's see. So change the small thing. Exactly. Change the small things. Bigger things will start changing as well. As I'm going to keep reading through these, as a reminder, if you want, what I'll do is I'll create a recap of all this, kind of, and a very targeted message for my Patreons. And that's how you support Be The Change. That's how you support me. Become a Patreon. Also for Patreons, you guys are going to get free. You're going to get free admission to the Q&A, the first 100 people that get in there. A free admission to the Q&A on this Sunday, which everybody will be able to view for Operation Take Back America, however we stream it. But for those that are Patreons, you'll be able to get in the Q&A, or anybody that donates, I believe more than $25. So that $25 is going to go to our two charities, which I'll be announcing later today, the final who they are. And the money will go to charity. Money will also go to Primetime Patriots and Be The Change, in order to have future events just like this one. And you guys, I'm sure you've seen some of the speakers. We got great speakers coming up. Do you want, Chris? Of course, if you want to tell me what made you smile today, I'm never going to turn you down. What made you smile today? Cassius Pastor, what was he talking about? What was he talking about, Jeanette? I don't know what I was just talking about at 4:03, or I guess 5:03 Eastern time. That's what. I do everything you say to do. I love that, Suzanne. That's great. So I had 3 days after he turned 91. That's wow. My grandpa just passed away this last October, and it was my mom taking it very, very difficult. And it was 90. I think he was 92. And then Kelly lost her grandfather, her grangy, soon after. So it's, tough year. Money and choices. Oh, talking about money and choices. Absolutely. I don't know where I was at that point, but all right. Anybody else got any other stuff? Again, I'm going to wrap this up in a couple minutes, and I'm going to do a Motivational Monday specifically for Patreons. Any kind of support you would give, I would love that. I love people that are on the Patreon. I love everybody, but I love people that are on the Patreon because they're just supporting this mission to continue to go forward. As I mentioned, I will have a book out hopefully by the end of the year. Finishing it. I have a book deal. I just have to take all of the stuff that I've written and put it on it. It's all about overcoming failure, taking risks, being the change you want to see in the world, and then, like, mostly in your life and that kind of stuff. Doubling down, like using my dad's gambling strategy for good. not bad. Oh, Chris. Okay, so this is your What Made You Smile Monday. I should just do that every day. Just have people post. What was able to catch up on my mortgage. Haven't worked since the 28th of August. I haven't truly worked. I mean, this is way more than 40 hours a week, but I have not actually really received a paycheck in the fields that I did since March of last year. Fun fact. So March of 2020. Okie dokie. What's going on? Kelly, I haven't seen you in forever. What's going on? And Casey, of course, you get a signed copy of the book. Hopefully, maybe I'll even come to Utah and do a book signing. Everybody's gonna be like, who's that guy with the chest hair? Nobody knows who he is, but great. I'm going to get a signed copy of Double Down Strategy, or Art of Doubling Down. Working title. All right. I'm going to stay on here for a minute or two. Anybody else? And I think tonight, since I love this new setup, I might just hang out and do like a Sunni rant later as part of my blunt force logic. Pretty excited. As soon as I get back from Costa Rica, I will probably be I'll probably be starting blunt force logic with OpsLens. I'm finishing up the paperwork now. I've gotten in contact with Matt Locke, if you follow him at all. He's one of the main people on OpsLens. Got introduced to them, of course, from American Snippets, who are fantastic human beings. Barb and Dave will be speaking at our event. Barb is a Gold Star wife. She'll be speaking at the event on Saturday. So I'm pretty excited. Thanks, Becca. All right. So I'm going to come up with something. I mean, it's going to be list and checking off list related. I feel like is going to be this week's Patreon. If anybody is, I did back in the day, AKA pre-COVID and beginning of COVID, I did used to do one-on-one motivational coaching. If anybody's interested in that, you guys probably know where to find me. Just let me know. And we could talk about that. But ultimately, if you guys just want the private stuff, like Motivational Mondays, a very specific version, or I always like Getting Over the Hump Wednesdays. So I'll probably start doing that as well. I've talked about that in the past, but I've said I really need to focus on doing more of this self-help stuff. It makes me feel good, and I love helping people get through things. So I'm going to keep doing that. I'm working on your bill. Let's see, Barbara, I'm working on my making my business. Barbara, the Tupperware Madam, work for me. I no longer want to work for someone who doesn't appreciate me. I love that. And it's kind of funny. It's like Barbara, the Tupperware Madam, BTM. Barbara, the Tupperware Madam, madam. So does that mean you're pimping out Tupperware? You can use that as depending on your sense of humor. Always be true to yourself. But if you are pimping out Tupperware, that's a whole different kind of slogan you can work on. What did I just say? Let's see. So I can follow through. Okay. So these are the last two things. So you're working on that. I want to talk about Barbara, working on making your business. This would be where I would say, what is stopping it right now? What's the first, and we'll start with the first step. I want to help you with the first step. And then Jeanette, you suck at follow through. Great idea, but then I just don't do it. Everybody sucks at follow through. That's the first thing you have to realize. Don't tell yourself that you suck at follow through, thinking that you are unique to other humans and you just suck. Humans by nature are not good at follow through. So get that out of your mind that you suck at it. You have the power to to literally stop thinking that you can't do the follow through. The first thing you do, and again, I'm going to bring it back. I guess it's kind of all following the same thing. You suck at follow through probably because you're only looking at the finish line instead of each 100 meters. So try to break apart what you're working on. Try to break apart what you are. Oh, I see what you're saying, Susanna. Try to break apart what you're working on into smaller, more manageable segments. So take these manageable segments, right? And then start creating lists and actionable items. It's the same as I said, trying to go on a diet. If you are only looking at the end game, following through becomes almost impossible. But if you set your standards and ability to do little things first, you will be able to follow through. Grieving is what's stopping you. Now I get it. So that's a tough one because everybody grieves differently, and I don't know exactly what's going on in your head and your heart, nor each relationship is a little bit different. And I've just been through this with my mom and just her getting past her grieving of her father. And she's still in it. The only message I have for you that's coming to me right now is for the people that you're grieving. Do you think that they would want you to stop doing what you're doing, or to slow you down, or to be stuck on account of them passing away? That's the best message. That's the message that just came to me. And I think, as a believer in God and the universe and all the different things that can help, that message just kind of came out of nowhere to me. And I think the message is, what would they think of the fact that their passing after 90 years is making you stagnant? See, everybody, I knew it was Shane. He found another account to come on. Oh man. Okay, so again, he loves to this. This is so funny. So just because he's here, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to tell the story before I block him. He legitimately had something happen in his personal life that I didn't know the truth. I hadn't spoken to him in over a year or 2 years. And I know that he had kind of alienated some other people, and he supposedly had abuse happen to him on the road by men that he was working with. And I had no idea who they were, barely knew Shane anymore. And he said that I was irresponsible for not having his back and not going after aggressors when I had no idea who anybody was. I want to be very clear so that everybody knows. And first off, it's amazing that I could tell by his verbiage and a fake name when he is and who he is. And then he also threw in there, and I'm going to say this because I think it's important based on what he's saying. He said, since I would not stand up for him in the alleged RAPE that had happened, that he wished the same would happen to my daughter. This is the human being that's in that corner. So every so often you have haters. I'm going to go ahead and block him again from the other account. Sweet Jesus. Let's go live. I'm going to pass. You lost that opportunity a long time ago, buddy. So he's banned. God, that's so crazy. They'd want you to live. Exactly. And Susanna, that's the best message I can give you. Yeah, he's got some issues, and that is the honest to God truth. And that's what I have to deal with him. Anyways, that's my last message. And my message for myself today is find a way to stay focused when that happens. Chris, I know it's fresh. This just happened to you. And I'm sorry. There is, I don't know the words. What you're going through is unparalleled. Nobody can be in your shoes. Even people that have lost a wife young, you never know. How do I say this? A couple of things. So what's funny is my mom, although she's different, she is a shaman. She's practicing shaman, and she actually, we're Christian, just to be very clear. She does speak to people that have passed. And she has just learned interesting things over the last decade. And I used to think she was absolutely full of hot garbage. And then I realized very true that it was true based on some of the conversations, some of the people that I met, some of the people that she talked to. I was like, holy God. And ultimately the people that pass and same type message that I had where was it? For Susanna, sorry, same message is she wants you to go forward. I guarantee you, I don't know what the last thing she said to you was or the last things you guys talked about, but she wants you to be successful. She wants you to push forward. Maybe not right away because it's so recent. Live in it. Let yourself grieve, but don't let it affect your professional life where it's going to have a future effect. But don't try to push it. I kind of did that with my dad. I waited too long to grieve. So let yourself be in grief, but don't let yourself lay down, if that makes any sense whatsoever. Let's see. All right. Yeah, he's got some issues. It's all right. Haters are motivators. And I'm giving you the honest to God truth on that story. And that's literally what happened. It's insane. And every 6 months, he pops up with a new name and different stuff. It's crazy. And Chris, when you're ready, if you want to talk to me, reach out separate. And I mean, I know, so this is going to sound kind of shitty and I don't want to sound that way, but like my mom or me, if you want to try to see if, to send her through, if she wasn't ready and she's still trying to talk to you or reach out to you. I know that sounds weird and super woo-woo-y. Or me, if you want to, tell me professionally what you're going through or just from a mindset perspective. And obviously for anybody that's part of this, I do have a charge, but there's an importance in a charge. And I'm going to tell you that I've spent 20, I've spent over $40,000 in the last 3 and a half, 4 years on investments in myself, groups, coaches, etc., for different things. There's something about actually did he find a damn son of a bitch? It's one of those, if you invest in yourself, even it's $50 for an hour or whatever it is, it's something that triggers in your brain. If anybody can see this is a little sick. Diary of a felon. What is that? I kind of want to look that up now. I'm out of dumb curiosity. How many different places can you block one person? Carolyn, it's a great question. If anybody wants to screenshot that on the Facebook, and actually don't, because everybody will do that. Casey, can you screenshot everything that you've seen if you can? I'm going to see if I can actually, for once in my life, press charges. I've tried. Thanks. I'm the one that started all this with cash and all these people. And I was the one that was the last to get something that looked halfway professional. He's something. Oh man. All right. Last thing. Sorry, because I'm having fun with you guys. This is my first one. This is my first Motivational Monday where I'm interacting with people. And of course I have to deal with Shane from 80 different profiles. Lost my husband 3 years ago. Can I just really quick go back? It is impressive that the first name was completely random and I still could tell just by his verbiage who it was. That's the only kudos I have for that. Lost my husband 3 years ago. It does get better. I have fewer bad days as time goes on. Hang in there. That was a message, it seems like, to somebody else, to one of the other ones that's having an issue, other people. And it does. I mean, I can tell my mom's finally getting better with her father, and it's always going to get better. It's just going to be a crappy day here and there. What Shane doesn't realize is there's a couple of people that wanted to hear and are actually having an impact. Hopefully some of the words I'm having are having an impact on them that are listening. And has such a high level of narcissism that his issue from almost 8 years ago that he pops back and forth in is still more important than any other human being. And honestly, it's been 4 months since the last time. Apparently the bigger the platform, the more he tries to find a way to mess with me. Anyways, this is I like this. I like doing this. This makes me feel better, minus the fact that Shane had to pop in. But I like having these conversations. It gives you something to talk about. So today's message, when I go on to the Patreon and create it, it'll probably be out tonight for Motivational Monday. It's going to be on making a list and checking it twice. Gonna find out who's naughty and nice. I can tell you, Shane, naughty, not nice. Making a list and following through. That's what today's Motivational Monday is going to be about. I love you guys. Thank you guys for being I mean, yeah, I very rarely tell exactly what he had said to me, but I've never seen him go during a live like that ever. Usually he hits me on Instagram and creates all these weird names. But if you're going to go at me on a live, it's an unfair disadvantage because all you have is a faceless photo and you've got me that actually can speak through it. But some people aren't ready to hear the message, Mary. Some people are not ready. Ladies and gentlemen, be the change you wish to see in the world. Unite, don't fight. Be a streetlight because only you could be the change that you wish to see in the world. Take it easy, everybody. Thank you guys for joining us. Me, not us. That'd be super weird because it'd be two-person. You get it. Take it easy, everybody.